All right, guys, speaking of that defense, that's what we're going for our next topic, brought to us by Mazda. For those who believe it's not just about playing the game, it's about redefining it, because these moments do more than win. They push what's possible, reminding us to go that extra yard, shift into the extra gear, and keep the game moving forward. When you follow what moves you, the unexpected is only the beginning. And just like there's more to every highlight, there's more to every Mazda. Mazda, move and be moved. All right, guys, if you watched Monday Night Football, you saw the Detroit Lions run all over the Baltimore Ravens, 38 carries, 224 yards, and 4 touchdowns on the ground. Now, this season, there has been no team in football better than the Cleveland Browns at slowing down opposing running backs. If you look at who they've played through the first 3 weeks, Chase Brown, Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, it's a pretty darn good trio of running backs. And in totality, the Browns have held those 3 running backs to 48 carries, 96 total yards, and 1 touchdown, which came in week 1 against Chase Brown. That is 48 carries, 96 total yards for Jacobs, Henry, and Chase Brown combined, and 1 touchdown. Next up, obviously, Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. Dustin, in your opinion, what has made the Browns' run defense this year so effective at chopping down some of the league's best backs?
Well, I think number one, it's more the interior, the defensive line that, you got Graham, Collins, those guys inside have done a really nice job taking on double teams and allowing our other dudes, like Schlesinger just is running around like with his hair is on fire. Like it's fun to watch. And then, like, we've got corners that tackle. I don't know. I think overall, in general, the Browns fundamentally are very, very sound with the way that they play, with their fits. Myles Garrett is somebody that everyone's scared of. They try to run away from him. And so I think it allows the defense to kind of just anticipate a little bit where the ball's going to go. And they have picked the right calls, and they've done a really good job. And it's going to be more challenging as they go throughout the rest of the year. This weekend will probably be the toughest test, because those 2 backs, I mean, they're so lucky to have those guys. It is, I mean, Montgomery and Gibbs are – there's not a better combo in the league, I don't think.
Yeah,
no. I mean, most teams would be thrilled to have either one, and they have 2.
Yeah,
and they relied on those guys really in the second half against Baltimore. I mean,
they were both great.
If you look at the stats of that game, it was something like in the first half, Goff threw for like 160 yards or something. You know, he threw for in the second half? 45.
Yeah, he's barely over 200.
And they scored like 26 points in the second half. So it was mostly on the ground. And
so that's kind of their strength versus our strength, right?
That's what's going to be really interesting to see.
In your opinion, and G, I'm curious for your thoughts on this too. When you have the immovable force and the unstoppable object or whatever, does the number 1 run defense win out versus the number 1 run offense? Or is it the other way around?
Well, I think it depends on also how your offense is playing. And I mean, like, you watch that game, that Baltimore game on Monday night, and I just watched Baltimore's defense just get worn out.
Tired.
They were on the field all day. And then the Lions they kept just like stepping on their throat and just pushing and pushing and pushing until they eventually they couldn't do anything against it. So, I mean, I think their objective was very similar to what the Browns' objective is this week, which is to keep the Lions' offense on the sidelines.
Sure.
You think they wanted Lamar Jackson on the field? Hell no.
No, they didn't.
You see at the end of the first half, like, the Ravens get down to the 2-yard line, 1-yard line, and somehow Derrick Henry can't score. And then they go for it on 4th down, and they don't get it. Well, the Lions come right out. They go 3 and out. Ravens get the ball with a minute.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 touchdown. A minute.
In good territory.
So they don't want Lamar Jackson on the field, just like we don't want Jared Goff on the field. I don't anticipate the Lions having the same game plan this week that they had last week.
Yeah, it's so.
No, because they won't need to score that many points.
Bingo.
When you are, let's say, like when you got a team like they got, right? When you're a defensive lineman and you going against a run game like that, what you got to realize is you need energy from your offense. You need it's almost like deposits and withdrawals, right? You know what I'm saying? When you putting money in.
So you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours.
Right. You,
Complimentary.
You build up some good grace, and then we're going to make them withdrawals, right?
Bingo.
Because now I'm like, okay, well, the offense is playing over their head. The game plan is aggressive. And when the game plan offensively sometimes is aggressive and you see the offense score points, now it gives you a little more opportunity to be more aggressive on defense because you figuring, hey, those guys over there, they got it going today. They giving us something today. They got running game. They throwing the ball. We don't got to be playing where we tentative and scared. We can blitz a little more. We can get a little more exotic. So the problem with the Lions is it's not just the run game. The run game is like that because you got to respect the passing game. They got a tight end can kill you.
Yep.
They got Jameson Williams can get deep. Amon-Ra St. Brown. Listen, they got 3 dudes that it's a problem. Each one of those present an issue. So
and
now,
a great tight end.
So now, and the best offensive line. So it's not like they can't run the ball with receivers outside. It ain't like they got a heavy running game where it's just we got a pound guy where he's gonna run it up in the middle. He's gonna get 4 yards. They got Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah.
Screen game.
Yeah.
They got everything that can challenge you. So. Like Dustin said, when those guys keep you on the field and now it's a threat of anything coming, if the Browns offense, they have to give the defense some sort of energy level so that they can continue to play at this level because this is not, if you're going to play, and I don't want people to get lulled to sleep. If you feel like the Browns can do what they did to the Packers and they can play that way and the defense going to bail them out, you're going to have a rude awakening.
That's not a game plan to win.
It don't work that way.
It doesn't work that way.
I think that
You'll kill the defense.
Yeah.
this is, even though they've played 3 really, really good offensive teams, and Jared Goff is at best the third of 4 quarterbacks they've faced so far, to me, this is the toughest test for the Browns defense, and here's why. The Bengals have a major flaw. Their offensive line is not good. The Ravens are, even though they throw the ball, they are such a run team that if you're the Browns defensively, you're completely focused on that run. Now, you usually can't stop it. They were able to, okay? And their offensive line's kind of shaky right now, too. Green Bay, everybody got carried away on Green Bay the first 2 weeks. It was kind of embarrassing. But if you look at Green Bay's skill positions, they don't have the talent that Detroit has. They're not even close.
Yeah, they got.
They are not close.
No, I think this is the most balanced and deepest offense in the NFL.
It's one of the better offensive lines. It's the best running game. It's probably.
I'd put up their coach against a lot of coaches.
Good coach.
No, that's fair.
They're aggressive.
Top 5.
They don't punt.
They barely punt.
Top 5 wide receiving core. Top 5 tight end.
Yes.
The quarterback's not great, but he's good. He's solid.
Serviceable.
Top 10.
And so I think the Browns defense will not be at quite as good this week. But if they are, that's going to really open my eyes because I already think they're excellent. But if they, as you talked about, the Lions are so well balanced. And the Packers were balanced. But first of all, Packers lost a couple offensive linemen in that game.
Yep.
They were beat up on the offensive line. And who they got in the passing game?
You ain't really scared by that.
Who's that good?
Yeah.
Well, their best receivers hurt.
Yeah, well, you ain't really scared by that.
They don't have anybody special. Josh Jacobs, nice back. He's nice back. But Jahmyr Gibbs is as good as any back in the league. He's top 5 back. David Montgomery is the thunder to his lightning, is excellent in that role. I mean, Jameson Williams, he barely even gets talked about. The guy's really good. They're deep. They've played together a long time. Everybody started that nonsense about Ben Johnson because their offense wasn't good the first week. Now they've scored 90 points the last 2 weeks. So they've already faced 3 big challenges. But I think this is the biggest one yet. And if they can play dominant defensively against the team, and plus, unlike 2 of the last 3 games, this is on the road.
Hey.
We know the Lions are better at home because they're fast on that turf.
They'll try to, and Dustin, their attitude, they trying to get you up out of here.
Yeah.
They are not, some teams play that brother-in-law ball.
No, they
going to be ready.
Dan Campbell's history, when they play bad teams, they don't just beat them.
They're going to try to get
They
you up
beat
out
them
of
into
here.
the ground. Look what they did to the Bears.
They'll put up 40 if they want to.
I
don't think they can.
Here's what's interesting.
Yeah,
I don't think they can against this defense. The Browns have the number 1 defense in terms of yards allowed. Number 1. they're averaging just over 200 yards allowed per game. That's insane.
By far the best. For them.
Yes, it's like 20 yards better than the second best offense, or defense rather, per game. So, and here's the remarkable thing about that, Bull, and you made this point. They're not doing it against bad offenses.
Right. Yeah.
They're doing it against 3 teams that when you looked at their offense on paper before the season started, you thought had the ability to score 35 points against the Browns defense the way they played last year. I'm fascinated to see, to me, I think this will decide the game. Can the Browns defense do to Detroit's offense what they've done 3 weeks in a row to really, really good offenses? I tend to lean towards no, because it's hard to do something great 4 times in a row, and I agree with you. I think this Detroit offense is better than the previous 3. I just do. They're deeper. They have more options. They totally changed their game plan at halftime. We got to run the ball. We'll run the ball. That's cool.
Well, they had a drive that was 97 yards. It took up 10 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yeah. Usually, if you have one of those in a game, you win that game.
And they only passed 5 times in that drive.
You want to hear a crazy
Wow.
stat, Dustin?
How many plays was it?
It was like 18.
That's impressive. Mm-hmm. Not many run games can pull that off.
Yeah.
Crazy stat on that.
Yeah.
In this game, the Detroit Lions had 2 drives of over 95 yards.
Jeez.
In the fourth quarter, 7-play, 96-yard drive. In the second quarter, an 18-play, 98-yard drive that took 11 minutes of game clock.
That's half the game.
The Ravens, you ready for this, though? The Ravens had not allowed a 95-yard drive or longer in 20 years.
And 2 in 1 game.
2 in 1 game.
And we get to see that offense.
That is wild.
We'll talk
That's
about
incredible.
By the way, the Browns scored 3 real points against that same defense. Just worth mentioning.
I mean, was it even that came off a turnover and a 55-yard field goal? No, we did have the first field goal, yeah. And that was a good-looking drive.
Yeah. That was their only good-looking drive.
Bull said something earlier that's worth mentioning. When he was talking to Leroy said that, Jameis Winston and Joe Flacco, they can throw for 300, 400 yards, and then the next week they can, throw for 3 picks. We ain't seen the 300 from Joe, and I don't know. I'm trying to figure this out. I don't know if I want to. I'm trying to drill down on it a little more. I don't know if Kevin is so hard on Joe being like no turnovers, that it's really done changed his mentality where he's not willing to make those same throws that he was throwing. I don't know if it's the fact that he don't have it in him, or it's the fact that it's just like, no, I'm being coached out of doing certain things. But the reality of the situation, the main good aspect of Joe Flacco was when he came off the couch was he was playing with reckless abandon. He was playing like he didn't care. Like, oh, this is my last opportunity. I'm going to go out swinging. And some of the throws that you saw to Amari Cooper where he throws into a triangle in the Bears game, some of the throws he comes out against the Rams, and it's just like, wow, he's throwing to Elijah Moore like Elijah Moore is him. Mm-hmm. It just seems like now, and it's even more evident, even with the flea flicker check down. I say, yo, he's checking it down to the tight end. But if you just look and see, sometimes when the pressure hits you and then they telling you to get rid of the ball, it closes your mind.
I think I have an explanation as to why. It's you have to look at it in a macro. When he came here in the Browns situation, it was late in the season and the playoffs were within reach. It was a long shot, but it was within reach. So that's kind of like the fourth quarter of a game. We can't be conservative. We got to air it out. We got to go for it. They did, and they won. Now you get to this year, he's 2 years older. Mm-hmm. I think the receiving core is very similar or not as good as it was 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I think in the early stages of the season, if you don't have to take those risks, you don't. And he's become check down Charlie Brown because it's safe. It's the easy way out. If this were the last 3 weeks of the season and we were in a playoff hunt, I don't think he'd be doing that. He better not be doing that if we get to that point, which I don't think we will.
I think as a quarterback, you can't do that ever. I think you have to. It's a certain
play them all like it's last.
You have to play it like. Obviously, I'm not saying throw the ball with reckless abandon, but there are 4 to 5 throws every single week that starting quarterbacks have to throw, and then them is big boy throws.
Yeah,
the big boy throws where I'm throwing it, I'm anticipating, or I'm throwing it, I'm gonna give my dude the opportunity, or I'm throwing it, And it's close, but he understands that at this league, the margins is so razor thin that there's only 4 or 5 plays that with a bad team and deficient talent that is going to get you there, right? And he has to throw those.
And you miss those opportunities, like you're not going to get them back.
But guys, the narrative on Flacco has been what? The interceptions. So Joe's not deaf to the criticism. Joe knows what that is. Joe knows very well. If you were to ask Joe with truth serum, what kills you? Well, the picks. He's even said last week in an interview, he said, I got to throw fewer interceptions. I think what he's doing is kind of like the pitcher who gives up way too many home runs for his ERA. He's a good pitcher, but man, he gets clobbered for a lot of home runs. Why? He's hitting the sweet spot. So what does that pitcher do? He dances on the edges. He doesn't throw it in the sweet spot
but he's
anymore.
still throwing picks.
He's thrown 3 in 3 games.
4.
Is it 4?
It's 4, yeah.
2 in week 1. One last week or 2 last week?
He had 1 against Baltimore.
So he's thrown one.
So
he's thrown 1 in every game.
A Hail Mary in this one.
Okay. We talked about the 2.
And he should have had
the 2 against Cincinnati.
He should have
had one.
I know, but
Baltimore.
if you look at those throws, forget about the outcome. Obviously, it was horrible. But if you look at those throws, those throws aren't throws that are typically interceptions. And the Hail Mary, so it's really, he's thrown 1 that was horrible. He's thrown 1 that should have been an interception that wasn't. I do think that it's human nature for a quarterback to try to avoid what his kryptonite is. And his kryptonite is the interception. How do you lessen the interceptions? You stop taking big chances when you don't need to.
You can't win when you never take chances.
I'm not going to argue that point.
Yeah.
I won't argue that point. The close to the vest is never going to get you to the promised land. No. Never. You're going to have to, at some point, you're going to have to start taking chances. And what Joe Flacco has been over the last decade of his career, when he takes chances, you see his interception ratio go through the roof. And when you're living on this razor's edge of the Browns where you can't make mistakes, one interception in a game can cost you the game.
But what I'm saying is he's still throwing 1 interception a game even without taking the chances. Even if you take away those 2 for the first game and you add the 1 that he missed, it's still 3.
Well, I don't count the Hail Mary against him, though. Actually,
that wasn't a Hail Mary.
Actually, you know what? I mean, we
call that a Hail Mary?
No, it wasn't a Hail Mary, but
that's not a real Hail Mary.
You know what it was?
It was an end of half desperation throw.
Technically,
it wasn't to the end zone, but it wouldn't be called
a Hail Mary. Did you guys watch the Manning cast Monday?
What's that?
Did you guys watch the Manning cast Monday? Oh my God, they did a segment where, and it reminded me of what we were talking about Peyton Manning. 5 rules changes that he wants to see.
Yeah.
And he had them on a whiteboard. And one of them was the Hail Mary should not count against you. We had just talked about that, how,
Right.
And it all was started, McNuggets, he kicked it off by saying the NBA just changed the rule. Exactly what McNuggets brought to the table last week. But while it was a lot of it was tongue-in-cheek, a lot of it was pretty serious, too. There was a point behind all of his rules changes. But that interception was so bizarre to me because it was a punt. It was 4th down, and Green Bay was celebrating like they just made the greatest play in the world. It cost them 35 yards of field position.
That was
stupid. I don't even know why you would.
Yeah, I don't know.
Intercept the ball.
I guess I look at it like this week. Again, I always say, hey Kevin, let's get creative, bro. You're gonna have to let it fly, let it hang. You gotta figure a way.
Like Luke Whippler catching a pass screen.
I told you, I gave you a pass on that. I didn't even hammer you on like I was supposed to get you, Kevin. I better not see no more post corners by center. Like, this man really had him out in the route bull. It was wild work. No, I just think, look, the protection scheme is another thing. Here's another thing, though, too. When you watch up front, it's like they don't know what they're doing. They still block the wrong people. It'll be 2 guys blocking 1 person. I seen Joe Bitonio and Wyatt Teller on a pull play, both blocked the same guy, and the guy that they let go made a tackle in the backfield. I think you can get a little better in the run game if you shore up your assignments. And by the way, sad to DeJuan Jones, when you watch him play, he wasn't even getting to the next level. He wasn't getting, he's supposed to move and block the first level, get to the second level. The Cleveland Browns have a lot of linebackers making plays that are coming free clean. So this week it don't get no easier. You got Aiden Hutchinson coming into town, or you come in his building. He's going to play hard, and he's a game wrecker. So, every week presents something different. But I will say this: you still have Myles Garrett. So when you got Myles Garrett, you're gonna have an opportunity. And the thing about the Cleveland Browns is, I do think they legit. I do think that they got other guys that is dogs. That Huntington guy, for
Addington.
Hutchinson?
No. I thought you were talking about our fullback.
No,
Yeah.
Our big guy.
yeah. Listen,
Isn't it Addington or what's
Aiden Huntington.
Aiden Huntington.
Yeah. So
Okay.
Huntington, he's nice, man.
I
He's
like him a lot.
He's nice. Like Jim Schwartz finally got his mix. And I would love playing for Jim Schwartz because y'all don't really got no responsibilities, really. It's just get in the backfield. Get in the backfield. Like,
See ball, get ball.
there it is. Like, and it's a nightmare playing against teams like that because they're not even reading all that pulling guard with your keys. Nah, there's 3 dudes up there just trying to put you in the backfield and with a nasty attitude. That's what slows down running backs. Don't give them the opportunity to bounce and cut and probe and give you the Le'Veon Bell slow feet. And nah, we're not doing all that. We don't get you in the backfield, dog.
Last thing on this before we move on. The one thing that gives me slight concern about this Lions run game that the other 3 teams maybe haven't presented is something we've seen teams take advantage of against Jim Schwartz's defense in the past, and that's the misdirection. And the Lions run a ton of misdirection, especially with Gibbs. So we saw on the 4th down play late in the 4th quarter, Dustin, you alluded to it, but the handoff to Amon-Ra St. Brown, who then turned into the option quarterback, pitched it to Gibbs for the walk-in touchdown. The Lions get creative in ways that they get Gibbs and Montgomery into space. And, G, you've talked about the over-pursuit from the Schwartz's defense. So just something to keep an eye on come Sunday.
Can we steal that play? Oh, I'm sorry. We
They have a lot of fun plays,
We don't
man.
have
Dan Campbell's awesome.
Gibbs.
Yeah.
And
How much would you love playing for a guy like Dan Campbell?
Well, I mean, it's a fun guy to play for because they obviously they win, and what they're doing is having success. So like his like attitude, it's infectious for a team. But I've been on teams where guys were very similar to him. Like they're like motivators. I mean, like I don't know. The Browns have had coaches that you'd be like, man, I would have loved to play for Mike Patton. You know, I mean, there were some coaches, not just here, but other places that I've had.
Mike Tice.
But if you don't have a quarterback,
Mike Tice was like that.
But if you don't have a quarterback, like Mike Tice was a great coach until Dante Culpepper tore his knee up.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
you
got to have a quarterback. You got to have some dudes, and
the players make the coaches look.
Yeah, for sure,
Jimmy's and Joe's.
for sure. It's easy to. It's not easy, but it's easier to be the fun coach that's creative when you got dudes who are just make it look easy.
It's also easy to play coach like you're playing a game of Madden.
Yeah.
When you had, they picked up a big 4th down late in that game on a pass route that Dan Campbell called the play. They talked to Goff about it afterwards in the interview, and he mentioned I wanted to use that play a couple times earlier in the game because it was there, and Campbell kept saying, "Nope, we're going to use it when we need it." And they needed that pickup in that spot, and they called it. It was risky. You're throwing the ball in that situation. You can stop the clock. You can help Baltimore immensely. They called it. It worked to perfection. They took a couple knees, and they got out of there with a win.
The Lions can get away with a lot more because their offense allows for that room. Like they can score 30 points easily against anybody.
Yep.
And if I told you right now that they score 30 points against the Browns on Sunday, you'd say that the Browns will probably lose.
yeah.
Are we going to do the
I don't
spread
think
question,
there's any
Mike?
probably.
Or are we going to skip over that?
We're going to skip over that because I got 2
Okay.
more things.
Can I just quickly ask, like, is 8.5 a fair spread for you guys? Because
I think it should be about 10.5.
I do too. I think that's a couple points low in my mind.
I think 8.5 is reasonable.
You think it's
Because
fair?
of the
What about
Browns'
you, Gene?
defense
Do
has
you think
been
it's
so
fair?
good.
Of course, it should be higher.
I thought so
I mean,
too.
Mike was trying to make it seem like it was too high.
I watched the game.
No, it's not too. No,
pretty much
Mike, wasn't that your thought going into the question?
Oh, I didn't know that's where you
No,
were going.
I
with
was
it.
just asking what you guys thought. I always
okay.
give you both sides. Is it too high? Is it too low? Where do you
And he
fall?
did in the setup. He did, but I think I would say I would give 10.5.
I watched the Browns get no points and no yards for
56 minutes.
yeah.